Good morning, everyone. So today you have faithful fools, including Fool Reverend Laura Shenham, Sam Dennison, and myself, Carmen Barsotti, leading the service. And unfortunately, we left behind one of our greatest instruments, is our red noses. Because today has definitely been a red nose day. Because Mari Ramos was going to join us this morning and unfortunately is sick. So we wish Mari healing, and we will weave in and step up to take the places that Mari was going to lead. So I welcome all of you here today who are in the sanctuary and those of you on live stream. And we hope that this be a service of celebration and heart strengthening for all of us for the work we have before us. And just some of you may already have in your hand a little square, a little fold, which we'll be using. If you don't have one, if you would raise your hand, and Linda is back there with the basket, and she can make sure you have one. We'll be using it as part of the service. So we also want to thank everyone who's making this worship service possible, and all of the names are listed in your order of service, which can be found online, and also hopefully you have one in your hand. And also as we begin the service this morning, we'd like to extinguish 2 candles for people who have died. The first one is for Kay Carlson. Some of you may remember Kay Carlson, who was a longtime member of this congregation, very faithful volunteer with us Fools, served on our first board with us, and Kay died on March 22nd. And we also extinguish a candle for the Reverend David Rankin, who was minister of this congregation from 1975 to 1980, and a leader in our movement. David passed away last night, and our thoughts and prayers are with his wife, Virginia, and his family. So let us begin. So as some of you know, over the last few years, we have been ringing this gong at different times when we want to remember that some of the horrors going on in our world send out peace. So we hold here in this space, in this community, our common world that is full of both heartbreak and stunningly beautiful life. We deny neither beauty nor heartbreak, but rather live between and among, inviting one another to step into this world as witnesses and participants in the whole of it. Some days it's hard to hold all the complexity that surrounds us. So this morning we ring our gong in a ritual to hold us together. We ring it once this morning for the thousands of people who have been killed and injured in Gaza and in Israel, for the hostages still being held, for those in Gaza who are suffering from inadequate water and food and medical care, and the refugees fleeing the war, for all who are afraid and all who are at risk, and all whose hearts are filled with hate, and all whose hearts will forever be scarred by the loss of loved ones. And in this morning, in particular, we remember the aid workers who died in Gaza this past week. And we will ring our gong a second time for the people of Ukraine, for people at war everywhere, and those around the world and those close at home who will lose years of life to poverty, racism, gender oppression, and climate change. And we will ring the gong a third time in gratitude for all people everywhere, for our ability to seek and offer healing, to offer and find forgiveness, for the desire to seek and to grant mercy when vengeance threatens to overcome us, and for the experiences of our common humanity that bring us closer together. Let this third ring of our gong remind us to be peacemakers and people of goodwill that we long to be in our daily endeavors. May we keep what we have named this morning in our thoughts and in our prayers, and may we each serve life with courageous love and ease the tide of human suffering these coming weeks, however we can.
Now is the time in our service where we light our chalice, a symbol of our faith. If you are at home and have a chalice that you would like to light with us, please feel free to do so. Please join me in the chalice lighting words in your order of service. We light this chalice for the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire. Please rise and body your spirit as you are able for our opening hymn, hymn number 389, Gathered Here.
Today, I first want to invite our annual giving co-chairs, Jack and Sherry Delo, to come forward and say a few words. And will you also help me welcome them and thank them for their incredible leadership this year?
Good morning, UU.
Friends.
We give a big thank you to all who caught the spirit of you've got a friend in we, and submitted your pledges during the initial phase of the annual canvass. You got us off to a flying start.
And as of this morning, we are 77%, that's a good lucky number, on the way to the goal of 750,000. Hooray!
Oh no, that means we're not quite there, but we are ever closer to the dreaded begging phase of the canvass. I can't cry on cue like Jemmy Swaggart, or even get down on my bum knee. What are we going to do, Sherry?
Well, there are still about 90 members who have not pledged.
Did they run out of gas on the way to the pledge box? Did their dogs eat their pledge forms?
No, there are lots of good reasons that people haven't submitted their forms. You know, some people have been out of town, some people have pressing matters to attend to. The good news is there is still time. Recently, Reverend Vanessa sent out emails, and you and I sent out snail mails. Today, those are called letters to the unpledged. And there will be more follow-ups until we have reached everyone. We will not quit here.
Oh, I know. We will not quit here. But the question is, are we far enough along to have champagne and cupcakes today in the courtyard?
Yes, we are. and we will draw the names of 12, not 12, 2 lucky people who managed to get their pledges in before midnight on March 31st. They will be the winners of 2 different stays at Lake Tahoe residences. So join us in the courtyard after the service.
Oh, and yes, we will have pledge forms available if you need one.
So our story this morning has some slides to it, so you'll be able to see some pictures. And it's Change Sings, a children's anthem, words by Amanda Gorman and pictures by Lauren Long. I can hear change humming in its loudest, proudest song. I don't fear change coming, and so I sing along. I scream with skies of red and blue streamers. I dream with cries of tried and true dreamers. I'm a chant that rises and rings. There is hope where my change sings. Though some don't understand it, those windmills of mysteries, I sing with all the planet and its hills of histories. I hum with 100 hearts, each of us lifting a hand. I use my strengths and smarts and take a knee to make a stand. I'm bright as the light each day brings. There is love where my change sings. I show others tolerance, though it might take some courage. I don't make a taller fence, but fight to build a better bridge. I talk not only of distances from where and how we came, I also walk our differences to show we are the same. I'm a movement that roars and springs. There's a wave where my change sings. Change sings where? There, inside me, because I'm the change I want to see. As I grow, it grows like seeds. I am just what the world needs. I'm the voice where freedom rings. You're the love your bright heart brings. We are the wave starting to spring, for we are the change we sing. We're what the world is becoming, and we know it won't be long. We all hear change strumming. Won't you sing along? The end. Now is the time in our service to say our promises that we hold dear to each other. Our unison covenant is in our order of service. Please join me in saying our words together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another.
Oh, good morning to you. Good morning to you. You know, today's theme was person by person by person, a change. And I spent a lot of time thinking about what I should speak to today. And I tried this, and I tried that. And my academic brain couldn't do it. My narrative brain couldn't do it. My solace brain couldn't do it. And my, I don't know, whatever brain couldn't do it. And I thought to myself, I need a change. I'm a person and I need a change. So I thought I would just bring to you the change that I need right now. These are difficult days in lots of different ways for all of us. And so sometimes all we can do is shift within ourselves. And I find I'm not very good at doing that by myself. I need somebody else. So I turn to some of my great heroes who create beauty, because I know when I need a change, I need beauty. So I'm going to introduce you to my friend Iris Murdoch. You may have met her at a party someplace before, maybe discussed her over a cocktail or breakfast. If you haven't heard of Iris Murdoch, please meet her. She is an amazing novelist, a philosopher too, but an amazing novelist who brings us characters who are strikingly human, strikingly like me, and maybe you'll find like you. Her characters, if they are mean and violent, are also capable of love. If they are flighty, they are capable of moments of commitment, not always. And some of her characters are shallow, really only interested in their own appearance and how much people love them. But even those people have a moment in which they have a great deal of depth. So I'm going to read you a little scene in which this book, The Bell, one of the main characters, Dora, who happens to be one of the most superficial people you could ever hope to meet in a novel. And she has this moment. She is trying to decide if she's going to spend the rest of her life with her older husband, who is sort of quite abusive, quite angry all the time, and she can't quite figure out why she keeps going back to him. But she's going to think about it on this particular day. So she, living in England, goes down to London to visit the National Gallery. And this is what happened. Dora hadn't especially intended to visit the National Gallery, but once she was there, she went in. It was as good as any place to decide what to do. So she climbed the stairs and wandered away into the eternal springtime of the air-conditioned rooms. Dora had been in the National Gallery 1,000 times, and the pictures were almost as familiar to her as her own face. Passing between them, as through a well-loved grove, she felt a calm descending upon her. She wandered a little, watching with compassion those poor visitors who were armed with guidebooks and were peering anxiously at all the masterpieces. Dora did not need to peer. She could look, as one can at last when one knows a great thing very well, confronting it with a dignity which it has itself conferred on the moment. She felt the pictures belonged to her and reflected ruefully that they were about the only thing that did. Vaguely, consoled by the presence of something welcoming and responding in the place, her footsteps took her to the various shrines at which she had worshipped so often before, the great light places of Italian pictures, more vast and southern than anything in the real south of Europe. The angels of Botticelli, radiant as birds, delighted as gods, curling like the tendrils of a vine. The glorious carnal presence of Susanna Fermont, the tragic presence of Margherita Tripp, the solemn world of Piero del Francesca, with its early morning colors, the enclosed and gilded world of Crivelli. Dora stopped at last in front of the Gainsborough's picture of his two daughters. Those children stepped through a wood, hand in hand, their garments shimmering, their eyes serious and dark, their two pale heads round, full buds, alike and yet unalike. Dora was always moved by these pictures. Today she was moved, but in a new way. She marveled with a kind of gratitude that they were still here, and her heart was filled with love for those pictures, their authority, their marvelous generosity, their splendor. It occurred to her that here at last was something real and something perfect. Who had said that about perfection and reality being in the same place? Here was something which her consciousness could not wretchedly devour, and by making it part of her fantasy, she couldn't make it worthless. Even Paul, her husband, she thought, only existed now as someone she had dreamt about, or else as a vague external menace, never fully encountered or truly understood. But the pictures were something real outside of her, which spoke to her kindly and yet in a sovereign tone, something superior and good whose presence destroyed the dreary translate solipsism of her earlier mood. When the world had seemed to be subjective, it had seemed to be without any interest or value. But now there was something else in it after all. These thoughts, not clearly articulated, flitted through Dora's mind. She had never thought about the pictures in this way before, nor did she draw now any particular moral. Yet she felt she had had a revelation. She looked at the radiant, somber, tender, powerful canvas of Gainsborough and felt a sudden desire to go down on her knees before it, embracing it, shedding tears. Dora looked anxiously around her, wondering if anyone had noticed her transports. Although she had not actually prostrated herself, her face must have looked unusually ecstatic, and the tears were in fact starting to form in her eyes. She found that she was alone in the room, and she smiled, restored to a more calm enjoyment of her own wisdom. She gave a last look at the painting, still smiling as one might smile in a temple, favored, encouraged, and loved, and then she turned and went on about her business. When I feel low, I need stories like this. So I thought today I would share this story with you. Thank you for listening.
Well, I'm gonna get through this world the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna get through this world, and I think I can. I think I can. Well, I'm gonna work in this world the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna work in this world, and I think I can. And I think I can. I'm gonna get through this world as I can if I can. I'm gonna work in this world as I can if I can. I'm gonna get through this world as I can. Well, I'm gonna walk in this world the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna walk in this world, and I think I can. And I think I can. Well, I'm gonna talk in this world the best I can if I can. And I'm gonna talk in this world, and I think I can. And I think I
Well, I'm gonna clean up this world the best I can, if I can. And I'm gonna clean up this world, and I think I can.
And I think I can. Well, I'm gonna leave this world behind the best I can, if I can. And I'm gonna leave this world behind, and I think I can. And I think I can. Gonna clean up this world as I can, if I can. I'm gonna leave this world behind as I can, if I can. I'm gonna get through this world as I
How wonderful. Stories and music. And now, in a time of meditation, all strengthens us. So this morning, I invite you into a time of meditation with me, to settle into your seats, plant your feet on the ground, take a deep breath and let your body settle. If you so choose and feel safe to do so, then close your eyes. And let us turn inward and feel the rhythm of the breath. In and out. Find the peace of just being with the flow of breath, letting go of yesterday and tomorrow. Feel the restorative power of the peace of this moment. A peace large enough to open to the concerns and sorrows that trouble us. A stillness quiet enough to respond to the joys and celebrations that enliven us. There is beauty here in the rhythm of the breath, as the ebb and flow of life is enacted with each one. And let us sit together a few moments in this quiet. Thank you for your presence this morning. And as Liz shared at the beginning, the offering this morning will be given to support our work as Faithful Fools. This congregation for 26 plus years has been a sustainer of our work, and we're very grateful to all of you. So today, there will be baskets passed, as well as you can donate online. If you put in a check or donate online, just put special offering in the line, so in the memo line. So thank you, and the offering will be gratefully received.
I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed, 'cause the angels in heaven done signed my name. You know that I
know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. Yes. I know I've been changed, 'cause the angels in heaven done signed my name.
I prayed all night and I prayed all day too. The angels in heaven done sign my name.
I'll keep on praying till I come through. The angels in heaven done signed my name.
I know I've been changed.
I know I've been changed.
I know I've been changed,
'Cause the angels in heaven done signed my name.
I stepped in the water and the water was cold. The angels in heaven done sign my name.
It chilled my body, but not my soul. The angels in heaven done signed my name. You know that.
I know I've been changed. I know I've been
changed. I know I've been changed, 'cause the angels in heaven done signed my name.
If you don't believe that I've been redeemed, angels in heaven done sign my name.
Then follow me down to the Jordan stream.
Angels in heaven done sign my name. You know that I
As some of you know, I lived and worked in Nicaragua before coming to the Bay Area in 1998, and then co-founded Faithful Fools with Reverend Kay Jorgensen, who was the social justice minister with this congregation. I arrived in Nicaragua with my Franciscan community in November of 1990. The Sandinistas, the revolutionary movement that governed after they had overthrown the dictator Somoza in 1979, had lost elections earlier that year. A US-backed government was back in place. The Contra-war that our government had waged to overthrow the Sandinistas then came to an end, and the country we arrived in was worn down by decades of war. 50% of the population was under the age of 15. Grocery stores were barren from the embargoes. Unemployment and malnutrition were prevalent. Settlements with tin and wooden makeshift shacks were bursting up around the outskirts of Managua as people came to the city seeking employment. At the same time, there was a strength amidst this weariness and an unrelenting determination that was still very palpable. As we came to know people, especially folks who were part of the base Christian communities or coffee, art, or farming cooperatives, we couldn't help but be inspired by the individual and the communal commitment that was still alive. People would tell us stories of the 50-year struggle to overthrow the dictatorship. Once Somoza had left the country, the Sandinistas began to take steps to bring about the changes they had fought for all those years. People from all levels of society participated. They organized a health campaign to eradicate polio and a literacy campaign because nearly 75% of the rural population was illiterate. It is said that 60,000 high school and college-age youth and 30,000 adults were trained and sent throughout the countryside to teach people to read and write. The campesinos and the campesinas would speak to how empowering it was when they learned to write their own name. The music that inspired people in the struggle to overthrow Somoza and to keep fighting throughout the Contra-war was still being sung in the churches and could be heard blasting from the stereos in people's homes. The lyrics of the Misa Campesina, the peasant mass, sang of a God who was a liberator, of Jesus as the young person who changed your flat tire at the roadside, of Christ who was risen in every arm outstretched to defend the people against the exploitation of the rulers. In first thinking about today's service, I shared with Sam that I wanted it to be on revolution. I wanted to think and reflect about the fact that here we are 45 years after what is called the triumph, and the Sandinista government, the liberating force of 1979, has become a dictatorship itself, imprisoning and exiling people, many of who were their comrades and fought with them in the wars. I think at some level, as you've heard already, a bit of a weary heart. I think I was seeking to feel that reviving, invigorating, communal, inspiring spirit that I would feel in the plaza in Managua when we'd gather every July 19th on the anniversary of the triumph. There was singing and there was dancing. And in the complexity, anger, and pain of the time we are living in right now, in this city and in our world, I long for that energy that comes with singing and dancing and feeling like we're moving as one mass for change. Sam contemplated my title of revolution for a moment and then said, "How about we do the service on change?" We fools speak of being a community that works for personal and social change. Now, change isn't quite as sexy as revolution, but Sam's suggestion of reflecting on change was right on, for that is what revolution is about: making fundamental change, making deep structural change within us and around us. And that is the center of our life and work as faithful fools. Rooting ourselves in our belief of the worth and inherent dignity of all people, we seek to do fundamental, personal, and social change. As we say in our mission statement, through art, through our educational work with students in schools, through our steady work of advocacy, and in our daily and often years-long work with individuals. And is it also the work that happens here in this congregation? We do the work. We make the changes. Person by person, action by action, meeting by meeting, celebration by celebration. Sam has also said at times that it often feels like this work is like pushing a string uphill, especially as they work with administrators of medical schools or with policymakers and city leaders. Yet they know, and we know, systemic change will only take root if we make the necessary fundamental changes in our lives, in the systems, and that takes time. Ray Soleil, my spiritual teacher, used to look at me and say, T, 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 things take time. And it takes continual commitment. If we don't understand that the work required is from year to year, day to day, generation to generation, then we risk participating in and allowing harmful structures to remain. And we risk that the once oppressed will become the oppressors. So we are here now, and the work is ours to do, as faithful fools, as a congregation, as citizens of this city and of this world. It can be exhausting, and hopelessness can nip at our heels. But one major thing I also learned and continue to learn from the people in Nicaragua is that dancing and singing and inspiring and encouraging one another with words and affirmations is essential to keeping our spirit strong for the work that needs to be done. As we heard in Amanda Gorman's story, Change Sings, together we are a chant that rises and rings, and there is hope where our change sings. This is the revolutionary way. So now I invite you to join in singing, Let It Be a Dance.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Lead the rhythm, fill the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with a wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong and nothing's right, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
So April is also Poetry Month. So our benediction this morning is going to be a poem that was written by Lynn Unger, UU, and is titled Fools.
In celebration of our High Holy Day, April 1st. So not only is April Poetry Month, but it is a holy month for all of us fools. Fools by Lynn Unger. I'm looking for a few good fools, not idiots, though Lord knows those are thick on the ground. I mean proper fools. The court jester who speaks truth to the king, the tarot card fool who dances blithely, little dog at his heels on the edge of a cliff. Of course, the chasm is real and more dangerous than you can imagine. Famine and drought, corruption and greed, war and genocide. It's all there. Which is why I'm looking for fools. Fools who know how to juggle not just the balls, but the possibilities, who can keep incompatible ideas simultaneously aloft. Fools who can step lightly. Fools who can dance because their feet are tired and when there are rocks in the road. Fools who know that sometimes the only way to find a new path is by getting lost. I'm not saying the job is easy. Bumps and bruises are assured, and the pay is literally a joke. Still, the work is not without its rewards. The view from the cliff is extraordinary, and the company is divine. Who doesn't want to journey in a cloud of laughter? And what is on your full agenda that is so much more important? You know you want to join this merry band. Here's your badge. Commence.
Some of my singers probably felt a little foolish because the idea now, in place of an organ postlude, is for us to repeat the last hymn, only everyone get up on your feet and really dance. We're round, around, around, we're going to go again. And this time we'll add John on the drums and a little bit faster tempo and everyone's spirit in the aisles. It would be absolutely terrific. Let's let it be a real dance. Everyone up. Here we go. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow in a wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes up.